Well, that's a very spicy bit of news, isn't it, for a random Tuesday evening? It looks like Pep Guardiola's right-hand man at Manchester City, the director of football, Txiki Begiristain, is going to leave. Not looks like it's actually going to happen, according to David Ornstein. Let me bring the news up on screen right now. Here we go. The tweet says, Man City director of football, Txiki Begiristain, is set to leave role at the end of the season. Long planned step down, age 60 plus. Long planned step down plus age 60. Club fully endorsed it. Let me get the article up on the New York Times. Here we go. Let's see if I can get this up to read. Fingers crossed. Is he going to stay up? He'll stay up. There you go. It says, City director of football, Txiki, is expected to leave the club at the end of this season. The Spaniard originally planned to step back from day-to-day operations when he turned 55, but was so invested in the City project and working alongside manager Guardiola that he extended that to his 60th birthday. He reached that age in August, and the decision was made with full knowledge and endorsement of the club's hierarchy. City believes to reach an agreement to appoint a replacement who's due to start in early 2025. Begiristain played a leading role in the recruitment of his successor and will continue with the duties during a handover period for the first 6 months. The former Spain midfielder worked as technical director of Barcelona, blah, blah, blah. He joined City in 2012. That reunited him with City CEO Ferran Soriano, who worked with at Barcelona. So that's essentially it. There's the article for you right there. That is a very, 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 very interesting bit of information. Look, on the surface, it feels concerning, but you could read a billion things in this. So devil's advocate Stephen here is going to explain how people are going to approach this for you, because this is absolutely a huge bit of news. So, devil's advocate, people will go, he's leaving because the charges have been found out and he's guilty. Whereas the other side would go, well, that's not really the case, and it wouldn't be on him directly anyway. It'd probably be on the accountants or whatever, or someone else. Someone could go, he's leaving because Guardiola's leaving. But the article says he's going to leave when he was turning 55, but he extends it to his 60th birthday, which he's just turned. So now he plans to move because he's been here for 12 years. So there's two sides of it. You could turn around and say he's leaving because actually the signings in midfield have been a bit shit recently and maybe he's taking his eye off the ball. And I would go, that might actually be true. So fair enough. I wouldn't argue with that. I am going to miss that pose, yeah, Hayden. The pose, the Txiki Begiristain pose, man. I'm going to miss it. So this is a really interesting bit of news. Now, a lot of people on the internet are very critical of Txiki all the time. I don't really feel like that we could do what we've done without his stewardship. He's been a phenomenal director of football. The amount of misses we've had has been tiny in the grand scheme of things. Man United have made more misses in one transfer window than Txiki probably has full stop, you know. So he largely has had a really good record at Manchester City. And I think of the big misses, obviously, it looks like Calvin Phillips is one, sadly. Núñez might be another. I don't know. You can argue with that if you want to. But right now, it doesn't look positive for 55 million very little football. Mendy, though injuries, quite character questionable, of course, as well. But before that, injuries looked okay. Other big misses? There was no big misses. Bravo was cheap, you know. Mangala, was he cheeky? He was just about, wasn't he? Boney, was he cheeky as well? Fair enough, yeah. Well, people like Scott Sinclair were like, they cost about 10 million. So I'm not going to count them. They were Scott Sinclair might have even been before him. Scott Sinclair was before him. But Rodwell was before him as well, surely. Was he not? Nolito was like 10 million. He scored 10 goals and disappeared, and we got 10 million back for him. The ones that cost barely anything, I don't really mind. Boney as well. Boney was weird. Apparently City wanted to sign Diabala, but Pellegrini really pushed for Boney. So Pellegrini's to blame for Boney, allegedly. But he also got malaria, Boney, so that also affected him quite a lot, and he never settled. So, you know, but the big misses really, I would argue, are Mangala, if he was a cheeky signing, and probably Calvin Phillips, and arguably Núñez if he doesn't go. Angelino costs like 7 million, so, and like, it's one of those things where it's not a really big deal. Navas was a great signing, mate. Navas for 12 million, 40 million. He was really effective for an awful long time. I think people have painted a picture of Navas much more negative than he was. For the price that we paid for Navas, he was good. Absolutely good. It's all about the money spent, by the way. I think Jovetic, was he? Angelino was sold for a profit, yeah. So I think people talk. I don't see them as bad deals. And Delph was a good bargain for a bit. For 8 million, turned into a Centurions winning left back. Absolutely. Maicon was a free transfer. I mean, you got to be realistic about the massive flops here. Like, free transfer is not a big deal, you know. He was crap, but he was a free transfer. Though Grealish is debatable, yeah. But that's a collective thing, I think, there of all of them, I would argue. But overall, I would say, you look at what Txiki's brought in, you know. De Bruyne. He's brought in, obviously, Rodri, Diaz, Haaland, Edison, Bernardo Silva. He brought in Laporte. You know, there's so many people. And I'm not willing to write Gundogan off yet, by the way, Brillo. I'm not willing to do that, by the way. That feels... Fernandinho, yeah. Gomez was like 13 million again, by the way. I'm never upset by a 10-13 million punt, especially when you get most of your money back. Otamendi was a brilliant signing, I would argue. 30 million quid Otamendi, wasn't he? I thought he was class, Otamendi. Mahrez, a great signing as well. Look, he's had way more hits than misses. So, but largely, Stones, yeah. Yeah, largely Txiki's had Akanji's a genius price. Alvarez for his price as well. Gabriel Jesus was a great deal as well for what he was like 23 million. Gabriel Jesus, yeah. When you think about what we got out of him, he was a brilliant signing. Then we sold him for massive profit as well. Sterling was a great signing. He was. Sterling had a massive part of Manchester City for a long time. Then we got our money back once again, which is really good business. So I think he's made Zinchenko was like $1 million, you know, and then KDB, yeah. He's got a really good legacy, Txiki. Either way. Whatever people feel about him, he was involved in the most successful period of any single team in English football history. So Txiki's overseen a massive change for this club, and it's really fascinating to see how this is going to unfold. I want to see if there's any more follow-up tweets or anything like that. I don't think so. I think it's pretty much just that. I'll see if there's anything else I can find online about it, to any more detail, any more colour. It's one of those things where, like, it's a shame to see him go. I'd be interested to see how this affects Guardiola's decision, because Pep might not fancy just staying around without Txiki there. Who knows? The only thing I like about it, by the way, is that he says, I really like this bit of the article here. Where's it gone? They've reached an agreement with a successor that starts in early 2025. So this idea about Pep potentially going, Pep also might like the idea of hanging around and working with a new person, whoever that is going to be. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this decision, see who it is. Like, I don't mind the idea of a new director of football. Look, Txiki's been brilliant. He's overseen a phenomenal change in this club. And it's one of those things where, like, a new director of football, though, could bring a bit of energy and maybe a slightly different eye on it. Txiki's 60 years old now. He planned to step back at 55. He went on for an awful long time. And he's done really well, you know. He's pushed his club forward massively. And AG said, new director of football having 2 seasons with Pep makes sense. Make sure the identity influence remains. I'd be really fascinated to see Pep, what if Pep is that new person. Hayden, dun, dun, dun. That's a crazy shout. What if Pep was the new director of football all along? No, I don't think that's going to be true. Yeah, Palmer was the worst sale, absolutely. Palmer was a terrible call, and so many of you were wrong about that as well. Don't forget, I was always saying, I did a video about when Palmer left, saying I'm gutted, we're going to regret it, and everyone was saying you're overreacting. Not everyone, a lot of people said they're overreacting. If this was the plan, why did Berardo leave? I don't know, mate, but I don't think Berardo wanted to be a director of football. Berardo's more financial, I think, from what I can tell. I don't think he's more of a football man in the same way Berardo. Berardo's gone to be the CEO at United, right? Which is a very different thing. Berardo was COO, which is actually probably above Txiki, I think. I think the chief operating officer at Man City is probably, if not level, if not higher than the director of football. So, I don't think they're very similar roles, really. I think Berardo doesn't want to work that close to a manager. He's a finance guy, basically, yeah. Whereas this is... you're going to get a guy who's a football man, you know. I don't know who we'll go for. I've got absolutely no idea. I'm not really that I'm not an expert in... I'm not an expert in telling you who's going to... You know, who's City going to bring in. But, you know, maybe we go for the guy Liverpool had. What was it? Michael Edwards. Where's he at? The thing is, as well, what I will say, I want to get real for a second. He's back at Liverpool, isn't he, Michael Oates? I forgot about that, yeah. I want to get real about Txiki. So you can say what you want about Txiki. You can get frustrated by his recent transfer efforts. I agree. I found it quite frustrating watching him sort of mess up the midfield bit for a while now. It's been aging and pushing towards inadequacy, and we've been struggling a little bit, and it's been a little bit frustrating watching us mess up in midfield, watching, Cole Palmer go, watching Romeo Lavia go, signing Nunes and Calvin Phillips, who Guardiola doesn't seem to rate, watching Gundogan get older, De Bruyne get older. It's been a bit frustrating watching that, but I can only look at his legacy, look at the players he's brought in, look at his ability to give a squad to Guardiola that is giving him all the success that we could probably ever dream of. And also, I think we have to bear in mind that Txiki, his job is to get signings in and all that kind of stuff, but it's also to keep players happy. Our big players don't really leave, Players stay a lot longer than usual. One, because City are winning, but also because they're happy here. Txiki is a big part of that. I know Txiki is very popular at Manchester City Football Club. I know Guardiola absolutely loves him. So you've got a man here who's really popular and helped contribute to this sort of really professional environment, an environment of success, an environment of a holistic environment, that which is always the aim in general. So you've got to bear in mind that he's not just the guy who tries to get signings. He's Pep's sort of right-hand man. He's he's the guy who speaks for Pep to the board and all this kind of stuff. Txiki is a massive part of our success. So we are going to lose a man that is respected around world football. Txiki has the number of everyone you could imagine in football. Like, anyone picks up the phone, Txiki Begiristain. That's the thing. So it's very hard to replace a man of that connection, that stature, that understanding of football. And there isn't a manager in the world football, by the way, director of football, that won't make mistakes with signings. Everyone does it. Everyone does it. It's absolutely... It's normal. It's absolutely normal to make mistakes here and there. So I am not surprised, that he made the odd mistake. It did feel like the mistakes started to sort of pile up a little bit. I do wonder what life would have looked like if we'd got one of Rice or Bellingham, and if Paqueta deal hadn't fallen through, would that have been a better signing? I feel like he would have played more than Nunes or whatever. Phillips was the sort of big mistake. So I don't know where we go. Look, if the end of his legacy... If Txiki gets in Zubimendi, that would be a really good signing. Maybe Txiki goes and spends big in January, or maybe the new guy demands the money, and we have to see, how we go from now. It's going to be interesting to see how January unfolds now, because there's no doubt that this sort of creates a reasonably unstable environment. Like, there's no two ways about it. When you've got one guy going and one coming in, and he's barely got the feet under the desk yet, it's going to be a little bit confusing. So yeah, it's also the thing as well, by the way. But we've also, people are going to read into it about Guardiola leaving. It's very possible. It's very possible. At the same time, though, he's been here for 13 years, Txiki. 13 years, 3 different managers. Apparently, 21 trophies he's overseen. And there are rumours, by the way, Pep is in Abu Dhabi right now. They're the rumours. I saw them going around. We'll see. We will see. Like, it is tempting to link the two, and it could be. It'd be a mad coincidence, and we don't know what's going on with Guardiola. It's more than a mad coincidence, isn't it? I can't deny people trying to connect the dots, because even in my head, I'm like, oh, does that mean Pep's leaving? And there was always rumours that Txiki would go when Pep's going to go. Oh, I don't know. Like, if Txiki goes and then Pep goes, it does feel more than likely. I would say this is not a positive in terms of the Pep news. Doesn't mean it's over. It doesn't mean that Guardiola is going to definitely go. But I don't think it's a positive. Like, largely, Txiki and Pep, they're like that, They're absolute best friends. They're BFFs forever, So... maybe the director of football's a Barca guy. Who could that be? I don't know. I don't think it would be that obvious, by the way. Monchi's done really well at Villa. Who knows? I do feel I got negative, intrusive thoughts. I could say them out loud if you want me to, but I don't know if you want to hear that. I don't know if you want to hear that from me or not. But I do worry, you know. I do worry about the future a little bit. You know, I do worry about where City are about to be. You know, is this going to be a transition phase? As in the Shan said in the chat, you know, Guardiola could leave, Txiki could leave. There's no manager like Txiki, and there's been no partnership like those two. So if Pep leaves and we have to get a new director of football in, look, we've got the most successful management in world football. There's the only way that after that is down. And I've been worried about this transition for an awful long time. So my head is in a really pretty negative way in terms of what the bigger picture here. And I don't feel we could carry on to the same degree without Guardiola. So I just don't think there's anyone else after it. It's like how Barca couldn't replace Messi. Because you can't. You just can't. And Guardiola is irreplaceable. So it doesn't mean it's not possible to keep winning. It doesn't mean it's not possible at all. But I do think Guardiola's one of one. Look, I don't want to ever eat Man City personally. I don't think his style is suitable for what Man City want. I think Emery's a cracking manager, but I don't feel he's the guy to get the best out of this squad. You know, we will see. We will see. This is massive news, though. Look, and I think people will go as well. He's leaving because of the charges. He's leaving because of the cases. He's leaving because Guardiola's leaving. We have to accept now as City fans, from the outside until we get proof otherwise, the outside looking in, this looks negative. It absolutely does look negative. Like, it does. We have to accept it. We can paint it in a positive light, but it really does look negative, you know? Hopefully Nicholas is right. Hopefully it's going to be all right. I mean, Bayern does look good, you know? Vincent's Bayern does look good. Xabi Alonso, sorry. We will see. And Pete, you can plan it for years, mate, but you need to know who the manager's going to be, you know? And I don't think they've been planning Kompany or Xabi Alonso for years, you know? They might have planned Arteta, but Arteta is more embedded now in, say, Arsenal, sorry. And who else is out? Who else is available after that? It does, Mad Hatter, context is needed, but yeah, it's a positive spin. You're putting a positive spin on it there, Mad Hatter, but like, from the outside in, it does look bad. The time with the charges, people would say, well, what's the argument against it, you know? It doesn't look negative to these so-called City fans. I'm not slagging Txiki off at all. Like, I'm not slagging him off at all. I'm saying we need to brace ourselves as City fans for people to make the conclusion, if that makes sense. People are going to make the conclusion that things aren't looking good inside. They're gonna presume it's about the case. They're gonna presume that Guardiola's leaving, and we haven't really got an answer to that. That that is fair. Like, people will go, yeah, that's washy. Like, it doesn't look good, you know. And I know you don't care, Mad Hatter, but a small part of me is catastrophizing. It is, not all of it, but I don't think we can paint this as fully rosy. I think it's naive to paint it as fully rosy, you know. Yeah, and I agree with Football Therapy there in the chat. Like, I don't think we can match his levels with another coach, but I think we can stay as a contender. I think we will stay as a contender, but we're not going to win 6 out of 7 under anyone else. I don't think there's anyone else that can do what Guardiola could done. Yeah, Mad Hatter, I know, mate, but people will go, yeah, sure. The people go, it's a mad coincidence that it's now, isn't it? And I don't really care. I'm just saying brace yourselves for the negativity. That's all. Look, you don't have to get defensive with me, everyone. You know, I'm a City fan here. You know, it's one of those things where, we have to. It's a weird week for City. We will see how it goes. I don't know how this is going to unfold. But for now, though, do let me know in the chat who you want to take over. How you feeling about Guardiola? How you feeling about everything else? Look, Txiki he's brilliant. He's an absolute Klopp 2025. Imagine. I'll take that, by the way. Would you take Klopp, by the way, in the chat? Would you take Klopp? I don't know. Let me ask the question. Would you take Klopp? I mean, it's not going to happen anyway. Look, Klopp will never come. He'll never come Man City. He's never going to come Man City. He's a brilliant manager, but I don't know if I could do it. Mourinho, fuck off, bro. Mourinho's terrible. Mourinho's spent, mate. There's a reason Mourinho's going around Europa League clubs. Or lower Champions League clubs. He's done in the modern era. Look at that. Look at that argument in the chat with the poll. 50-50. Mourinho in big 2024. What are you doing, mate? Mourinho. Imagine that, him just playing 8 centre-backs. Mourinho in 2024, mate. Come on. To me, it'd be Xabi Alonso, and it wouldn't be Girona coach. They absolutely punched above the weight. Girona last year were a freak coincidence. They're never going that high again. It was a weird moment for Michel as a manager. Michel. Even Rossley, yeah. There we go. I'm going to leave it there, 50-50. Klopp's more than good enough, but he's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. I'd love Xabi Alonso, yeah. Maybe not Vinny. Maybe Vinny. We will see. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you make of this. Thanks for watching this video. This is crazy. It's absolutely wild. Zidane's not that good. I don't. Zidane literally just sort of course corrected a bunch of ridiculous superstars, and Ronaldo and the rest of them won Champions League for Zidane. I just don't see it. Lee Carsley has no football club management pedigree, so I don't know where you're getting that from, mate. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks very much. In a bit, big news. Bye-bye.